My first year in this industry was the first time I ever made thousands and thousands of dollars in 1 month. So the loan officer job industry is exploding at a crazy rate. And you guys can imagine why. The market has just blown up since COVID. There's so many people buying houses that they are running out of inventory, and it's driving prices up, which means that loan officers are more in demand and they're making more money. You all message me so much on a daily basis, asking me tons of questions about becoming a loan officer, how to apply, being successful, how to get business, things like that. And while I have done Q&As in the past, I did ask you guys to send me some questions that I have not covered already, and y'all came up with some great questions. So in this video today, I'm gonna answer your most burning questions about how you too can become a loan officer, become successful, and I'm going to answer a lot of things you guys have been wanting to know that I have not covered in any other video. So if you're interested in becoming a loan officer, what it takes, how to be successful, and learn some of my secrets to success, stay tuned. Hey honeybees, or if you're new, my name is Sierra and I do videos on finance and lifestyle. I am a full-time mortgage loan officer and YouTuber, and I have helped hundreds of people to buy homes and build wealth. So I take everything I know and I've learned and I share it with you guys in hopes that you will build wealth also. So first and foremost, if you are not already following me on Instagram, shame on you. You should be following me. I have 2 pages, and one is for mortgage content, and that is Sierra Foster Loan Officer. And my other page is just day-to-day lifestyle content. It's everything else, and that is Sierra Elaine Media. Both are linked below. Go follow. Okay, so first question, what is the best way to break into the industry? I meet the qualifications, but I can't get an interview. I will die on a hill when I say networking, networking, networking. Networking is the #1 key really to almost any industry. If you're having trouble getting an interview, then that means there is an issue with either your resume or your ability to get your foot in the door, to network and to get in touch with the right people that can bring you into the company. I got into the industry myself by networking. I actually found the mortgage company I work for through my best friend. She bought her house, and working with the loan officer, thought I would be a good loan officer, told the owner, and the rest is history. I put in an application, used her as a reference, and got an interview, and I got the job, and I've been there ever since. So a lot of it has to do with networking. It's not always what you know, but it's who you know. So my advice for networking, if you don't already know someone in the industry, is to get active on social media and put yourself out there. A traditional way to do this are sites like LinkedIn, but I actually like a site. It's called Polywork, and it's like a new kind of professional social network. I like this because whereas the traditional professional social networks label you or focus just on labeling you with a job title, Polywork enables people to actually share what they do in a timeline format. Also on Polywork, you can share professional and personal updates. You can follow people and send collaboration requests. And this is big because what a lot of people don't realize in this industry is everything from getting a job to building your professional network to being successful is based on relationship. How you're going to get the job is based on relationship. How you're going to keep the job and get clients is based on relationship. So in that sense, think of Polywork as like a next gen LinkedIn. So super quick, I'll break down to you how it works and how you can use it to network and to possibly build new relationships that will help you break into the industry. So among other things, what I really like about Polywork is 6 different features they offer. One of those is a profile header. You can show your name, you can have a headline, you can add a bio, a banner image, etc. You can make it so personal to you. You can make it aesthetic how you want it. You can make it more professional or more fun. Badges are used to represent who you are both professionally and personally. So for example, designer, content creator, speaker, Trekkie, entrepreneur, girl dad. All those things are examples of badges. And all users can create new unique badges for the platform as well. You can create any you like that help represent who you are. That way it doesn't feel like you're boxed into one simple job title, because let's be honest, most of us are multifaceted. I know I am. I'm not just a mortgage loan officer, I'm a content creator, I'm an inspirational speaker, a music connoisseur. I mean, I love fitness. So there's so many aspects, and you want to be able to showcase all of those because somebody is going to resonate with that. Somebody's going to resonate with the fact that you went to Louisiana State University. Maybe they're an alum too, or you guys like the same kind of music or the same kind of food or have the same hobbies. That's how you build real relationships, and that's how you're going to be able to break into the industry better. The big part on here is the timeline. You can actually show off what you've done in the past and what you're up to right now. You can put personal and professional highlights and activity tags. Now, activity tags, they're used to index what you've done. They're like your own personal SEO. So whatever you want to be known for and discovered by, post it as an activity. So you can add them to your posts. For example, designed an iOS app, launched a TikTok campaign, and created a YouTube tutorial. Those are all examples of activity tags. And these are really important because they power Polywork search engine. So if you want your space to be discovered on the Polywork network, just make sure that you add activity tags to your posts. You can tag people or collaborators in your highlights. You can tie highlights to your position that you've listed on your profile, and you can even add media like pictures, videos, etc. You also have a contact request form or preferences where you can set what kind of opportunities you want to be contacted for, what you're open to collaborating on. There's a multiverse feature, so you can explore Polywork users from all different industries and interests, and you can follow what they're doing. You can also follow users to personalize your feed. It's just really cool. Like, you see different profiles, categories. You can check out trending badges that resonate with you and your audience. You can personalize your feed with all or following. And then there is the space station feature. So whereas multiverse, it's all about endless exploring of like posts and people, space station is where you actually go to specifically find someone that you want to collaborate with. It shows everyone that's open to collaborating right now and exactly what they want to be contacted for. So for example, investors, advisors, content creators, influencers, mentors, speakers on Clubhouse, etc. So this is what Space Station looks like, and this is kind of how you can use it to find people and collaborate. So yeah, if you find that you're having trouble breaking into the industry, I would just try a different approach, because the approach that you're using has not worked, so try something new. I have the link below, so just click on that link to join me on Polywork, and definitely check out my bio for more details on how to get access. Did you start out full-time or part-time? How long did it take to build a pipeline? I really think it's important to be full-time if you can. Starting out, there is just so much to learn and so much to do. I just don't think you can do it as effectively and quickly if you're doing part-time versus if you're doing full-time. So what I recommend is to start full-time if you can, and then once you've had some years in the industry and you feel really comfortable, then go to part-time. I started out full-time and I'm still full-time. It takes up so much of your daytime, but it can be done. I just think, you should start off full-time. That's what I did. And how long did it take to build a pipeline? Honestly and truly, for me, it took 3 months to start like really closing my first loans. And to build a significant pipeline, it took me about 5 to 6 months. So by 3 months, I was closing like my first set of loans, and then by 6 months, I had built up my pipeline where it was, pretty significant. Don't get discouraged in those first few months. I know it is so nerve-wracking because you got to make money, you want to get loans going, but it does take a little bit of time at the beginning because, you're learning, you've got to get the loans, and, you just got to have a little bit of patience. I think you can easily close your first loan in the first month to 2 months. I would say 2 months is good to close your first loan. And then after that is when you really should start, building your pipeline. But be patient with it and, just work hard and it will happen. Tips on generating leads. I've covered that. I will have a link below to the loan officer playlist where I do a full entire video on how to get business as a loan officer. Next question, what do you do first when you start an application? When I start an application, actually, I'm already doing a pre-qualification. I start with a quick pre-qualification before I have the borrower to even fill out the application, and that's a quick 2-minute phone call or a quick email. I crunch some basic numbers. We don't pull credit. It allows me to know if the borrower is even ready to apply. And if they are ready to apply, it lets me know approximately what price range they're going to be in. This is super helpful even for the realtor. Let's say a real estate agent sends them to you and they just want to kind of know, is this person ready? You can immediately give them an answer. So before I even have my borrowers to do a full application, I do a pre-qualification. Hey Sierra, hey girl. I would love to know your thoughts on paid advertisement, so Zillow, etc. Thanks. So yes, paid advertisement is big in this industry. I say if you have the funds to put towards it, it definitely cannot hurt. But everyone doesn't have the funds to put towards that. So if you have the money, I think it can be very helpful. So, Zillow leads, I don't know. Zillow leads for loan officers, I haven't had a good experience with them. I did them through my company and our Zillow leads weren't good, but I don't know if that was just like the kind of leads we were doing. But yeah, Zillow leads, other website leads, a lot of loan officers do billboards or benches, and those things get you visible. So I think it could be a great way to get clients. But if you don't have the dollars to put behind paid advertising, definitely check out my video on how to get leads. I talk about how to get business as a loan officer without paid advertisement. And so if you don't have the money, then don't stress. You can still get business. But if you do have it, yeah, that's a great way to get your face and your name out there. Do you have someone to manage your social media for leads? No, I don't. I probably should because I do have a loan officer page and a regular page on Instagram, and I get leads from both, but mostly my loan officer page, and it's just hard to manage both. I do it as I get time, but no, I don't have anyone to manage it, but probably eventually soon I will probably get help with that. If any of you have experience in this area and would love to help me, definitely make sure that you sign up via the VIP link below for Polywork. You can follow me there and start looking for ways to collab. Maybe I can find someone to help me. Ooh, this is a great question. What are some things to know as a starting MLO that companies don't teach you? So a good thing to know is how to save. Your company is not going to teach you how to manage your money as a loan officer, and they're not necessarily going to teach you like the ebbs and flows of the industry, but the industry ebbs and flows. Like there's certain times of the year when business will be booming and banging and popping, and you will be making so much money, and then there's times of the year when you are going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to pull your hair out. You're going to be like, where is everyone? What's going on? I'm not making that much money like I was during home buying season. So starting out as an MLO, I would really focus on learning how to save, manage your money, manage your expenses, so that when you get to those months and that time of year where business isn't coming in as much, that you can still survive and maintain your lifestyle. Also, I would really learn, like I said, the art of networking. I mean, that's just something that really almost can't be taught. You're gonna have to work on your social skills. Y'all probably aren't gonna believe this, but I am not a social person. I'm actually very much an introvert. And so when I became a loan officer, one of the things I was surprised about is that you have to be really social. Like, you can't just sit in an office all day. You actually have to get out and put your feet to the ground. You have to go to events, you have to meet people, like you have to throw seminars and events yourself. Like, it's a lot of social interaction and networking that sometimes people or your boss or your manager, they just can't teach you that. They can give you tips and tell you, but you're gonna have to develop your own flow and find out what works best for you. For example, you have to really find out what works best for you. When I was first starting out, I did what a lot of people do, and I just would pop up at real estate companies and bring them candy or gifts and just like meet people, or I would go to open houses to try to meet people. But I found like I wasn't being super successful that way, and it kind of is just a cliche way to do it. And I think sometimes real estate agents get annoyed if you pop up unexpected and you interrupt their work day. So I got creative and I started trying to think outside the box, and I started using social media and YouTube actually to bring in business. And it's funny because I actually wasn't doing it to bring in business. I was just doing it because it was something I loved and I was already doing. But I found that it did help me bring in business, and it completely changed my life and my workflow and my business as a loan officer. So no one's gonna teach you just like what is gonna be your niche or your edge, or really how to like bring in people. Like, you're gonna have to figure that out, and like what you're good at and what you can do that really draws people to you. I love this question. It's got to be from someone who's a loan officer or works in this industry. Tips on staying in a good mindset while your business has slowed down. This is a big thing as a loan officer because, like I said, there's going to be ebbs and flows. There's going to be super busy months, and then there's going to be really like slow months. So that's when it gets really hard as a loan officer, and that's what separates the men from the boys, the women from the girls. That's what separates people who are going to survive in this industry and the people who aren't. You can also really start to doubt yourself at this point, like when business starts slowing down. So the first thing that I would say, like my first tip on staying in a good mindset, is to know that it's normal. Even the top loan officers in the world have periods where their business is lower than other times. Like, that's just the nature of it. Like, it's gonna ebb and flow throughout the year, and there's certain points in the year when everyone tends to do more business and get better, and then there's other points in the year where most people slow down. So just know that it's normal, it's typical. It doesn't mean you're a trash loan officer, and know that it's gonna pick back up. Like, don't get so stuck in that point where the business is slowing down and just be like, oh my God, this is the end of my life. Like, it eventually picks back up. It does every year. I promise you, it picks back up. So what goes up must come down, and you know, what goes down can only go up, right? So just know that it's not forever. Also, knowing that you're going to have a slow season or a slower season, I would start preparing early. So what I learned to do as a loan officer, since I know in those like October, November, December months is like my slow period, or when business really slows down for me, I start prepping 3 months ahead. So actually, I started planning for my slow season during the summer when it was really busy. I focused on really building up like my new business and just bringing in new clients, because that will trickle down to help me keep my pipeline consistent during the slow season. So work just a little bit harder during the busy season, and it's going to help you stay a little bit more stable and secure in the slow season. So I'm a direct lender MLO considering taking a position at a broker shop. Any tips? Oh man, this is a great question. So usually how this scenario presents itself is somebody who works at, say, a bank, and they switch from working at a bank to working for a broker. I can only speak to this so much because I have not worked at a bank. My entire loan officer career has been with a broker, but from people who have worked at banks and have done both, what they tell me is that there is a pretty big difference. One of them being that at a bank or somewhere like that, you typically get like a base salary or like a base income, and then you get bonuses for the loans you close. So in a sense, you get a little bit more stability, especially if you are new to the industry. What I've heard recommended by people I know is starting out, start with a bank or a direct lender that gives you a little bit more training and stability, and then eventually switch over to a broker. Because when you switch to a broker, more than likely you're looking at mostly commission based, and there's not going to be as much hand holding and training and guidance. If you are going to switch from a bank to a broker, just make sure that you are ready financially to switch from having more of a stable income to having something that's more commission-like. And then also just make sure that you are really comfortable in the job and you feel secure in that before jumping into work with a broker, because like I said, it's going to be less hand-holding. But the upside is when you work for a broker, you make more off of each loan. So if you have already worked at a bank, you've built up your book of business or clients that you work with, and you have that as well as your sales, and you've saved up money, like by all means go to a broker and cut up. You will make so much money probably because you have such a great foundation. So yeah, I just say make sure you have a good foundation before switching from a bank to broker. Okay. Oh, this is a good question. Do you have a separate bank account for your MLO business? Yes, I do. So it all really, honestly, it's going to depend. How you do it is going to depend on how you get paid. As a loan officer, I get paid as a contract worker, like I'm self-employed. So I treat it as my own business, and definitely consult a CPA because I'm not a CPA. This is just how I do it. So I keep a separate bank account for my loan officer business and a separate account for my YouTube business, and then I have a personal account. And so yeah, I keep it separate just because it makes for easy accounting, and for tax time it just makes everything easier when doing deductions and all that good stuff. I got another question on how do you keep the business coming. Definitely check out that video. I have a video on how to get business as a loan officer, and that's kind of where I give you all my tips on that. Tips and tricks to pass the NMLS test when you are transitioning from a different career. This is a good question. I would say, because I did this, I transferred from a completely different career. So definitely check out my videos on study tips, study hacks, how to get licensed in 2 weeks. I think I have a video on. I would use all those. I would say you don't necessarily do anything different per se when studying for the NMLS, but I would say if you're not already familiar with the industry, maybe just to study a little bit more, put a little bit more effort into it. Focus a lot on learning just like the terms, and not only that, but how to problem solve. I think coming from a different career, that was the hardest part for me. Was like I can memorize, I have photographic memory, I can memorize up and down, like that's just always something I've had to do. But what was hard for me was going from just like memorizing things to really like learning how to problem solve with things in this industry. That was the hardest part for me. So I would say spend extra time on those like problem solving questions and not just like memorizing stuff, but like learning how everything works together. Study hard, take it a little bit more seriously if you're not already familiar, and really focus on the big picture, because that I think is what can trip you up. Ooh, I like this question. Is being a loan officer a good long life career to keep? I like this question, and yes, I think it's a good lifelong career to keep, because if you think about it, people are always going to need houses. People are always going to buy houses. Now, how much and how often people are buying houses may fluctuate depending on what's going on in the economy, but people are always going to need houses. So if you want a lifelong career, I say, being a loan officer is a good one. Do you get to work from home? Yes, I work full-time from home. I started off working in the office, like I think my first 3 years. And after that, I transitioned to working from home. Pretty much my boss let me I think I would do like every other Friday, I could work from home. And that way, like, I was able to gauge if working from home is for me. My manager was able to gauge, like, am I still able to be productive? Does it work out good? Things like that. So yeah, if you're a loan officer, you can work from home. Not sure if you answered it, but what's the best online school? So I have answered this, but I'll answer it again. I used Mortgage Educators, and to me, they are the best. So yeah. What to expect in your first year in the industry? Expect to have to learn a lot. Expect that you're gonna have to learn a lot. This industry is so different in so many ways. Like, a lot of jobs you can just use generic skills and do the job well, but this job, there's so many specific skill sets you have to have, and you have to have them at once. So expect that you're going to have to learn a lot, and be open to that and be ready to learn a lot. Expect that you're going to have ups and downs. You're learning a new industry, it's a new job, everything is new, so you're not going to be perfect at it at first. You're going to make mistakes. As much as nobody wants to make mistakes, you are going to make mistakes, and making mistakes in this industry is actually sort of one of the best ways to learn, because there's so many scenarios that cannot be taught in a textbook. You have to kind of go through it to learn it. So expect that you're going to make mistakes. Expect you're going to have to learn a lot. There's going to be ups and downs, but expect that you are going to have those months, or that month where you've made more in 1 month than you have at any other job. My first year in this industry was the first time I ever made thousands of dollars, thousands and thousands of dollars in 1 month. I had never at any job touched that much money in 1 month. If you work hard and you stick with it, expect that it's going to be rough, but expect that it's going to be worth it, and you will probably be able to see more money than you ever have in any of your other jobs. How did you study? Prepare for the test, study tips. I've got videos on that. Check out that playlist. Okay, so that is all the questions I'm going to answer in this video. Thank you guys so much for all your questions. If you learned something, if something in this video helped you, do me a big favor, give me a thumbs up. And also let me know in the comment section if you have more questions that I didn't cover in this video and that I have not already covered on my channel. Make sure to put them in the comment section below. Make sure to subscribe to be a part of the Honeybee fam, and hit the bell button so you can be notified when I upload more loan officer content. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you to the bank and back, and I will see you in my next video.